arrive at your address at Muzi section, who did you find there?
Asike sibuyele ke muva ke Mr Sibiya nkathi uboshwa uma usufika ke manje laphana eVusimuzi section 1818 ubani wamthola lapha ya?
Bangifike ukuqala ngasale emotweni mina.
When we got
bathola ngamuntu la ehlala khona endlini.
Okay. When we got there the first time, I remained in the vehicle. They then came back and said they didn't find anyone in the house.
And then at the gate of that particular place?
Esangweni ke egate khona lapho.
Kwakukhona imoto zamaphoyisa.
Police vehicles were there that we were traveling with.
You also testified that you're residing or you're sharing that residence with your uncle.
Ushilo nokuthi futhi lapho wawuhlala khona nomalume wakho.
Yebo ngangihlala nomalume.
Yes, I used to stay with my uncle.
On that particular day, was he at those premises?
Ngalelo langa lelo waye khona lapho.
Ngoba amaphoyisa ethi awafica ngamuntu endlini shuthi wayengekho.
Because the police came back and said that they didn't find anyone in the house, which means he wasn't there.
Okay. Where were you at that stage?
Wawukuphi wena ngaleso sikhathi leso?
Masifike egate lase Charlton.
Is it when we arrived at the gate of the premises?
Ngangiphakathi emotweni amaphoyisa.
I was inside the police vehicle.
Was it next to the gate?
Eduze negate.
Eduze negate.
Close to the gate.
On the 13th of October 2023, during the cross-examination of Constable Monaring, your attorney has this to say, and then I will read from the record, that upon arrival at that place where the uncle rented and he stayed with the uncle, the police found his uncle and a friend at the gate, and the police instructed his uncle to open the room which they resided. What is your comment?
Gate 13 zika October kulo nyaka ondlule 2023 nkathi kubuzwa uMonareng imibuzo kwashiwo lokhu okulandelayo ukuthi kwathi amaphoyisa efika khona lapho athola umalume wakhe kanye nomngani wakhe bemile egateini wase yacelwa umalume ukuthi akayovula la bahlala khona. Uthini wena kulokho?
Mina ngithi amaphoyisa angishiya egateini ahamba ayochecka ngaphakathi emkhukhwini abuza ukuthi umkhukhu ehlala kuwo ngabayalela afika kuwo abuya kimi athi awafici umuntu sase ngene emotweni wasekuthiwa sami.
What I'm saying is we got there, I remained in the vehicle, the police went in, they asked me which is the shack that we are staying in. I told them, they went, they came back and said that they didn't find anyone, we should leave.
But it was your version that was put to Mr. Monaring. Say, what are you saying about it?
Kodwa ke lokho okwashiwo kuMonareng kwakuyinto elento ekuthiwa ngesilungu bathi i-version ngamagama yinto ekhulunywa uwe uyitshela ummeli wakho yena ayitshele ufakazi. Manje uthinike kulento le eshiwa ukuthi kuMonareng kwathiwa wathola egateini malume wakho emi nomngani wakho wacela ukuthi akavule la enihlala khona. Uthini kulokho? Ngoba yinto ekhulunywa wena uyikhuluma kummeli wakho.
Angeke ngikwazi ukukhulumela ummeli engikhulumayo mina ngithi ngafica ukuthi akukho umuntu lapha amaphoyisa ahamba afika athi akukho umuntu abuya angene emotweni athi asami.
I cannot speak on behalf of my legal representative. What I'm saying is that we got there, the police went in, they said they didn't find anyone, came back and said we should leave.
So you are distancing yourself from that assertion?
Okusho ukuthi wena uyayiqhelanisa naloko okwakhulunywa ummeli wakho ekukhuluma kuyena ufakazi.
Cha, ummeli mayibeke ngendlela ayibeke ngayo kusuke ngingasho ukuthi mina mhlawumbe ngamtshena aka understand indlela ngitshena ngayo zisisanga kahle. Angeke ngikwazi ukumkhulumela. Kodwa mina engushoyo ilokho engitshena inkatolo njengamanje.
No, my lord, maybe it is that the lawyer or the legal representative said it in the manner in which he said it. Maybe he didn't understand me clearly, but I am putting my version in the manner in which I'm putting it now.
Let us proceed. Then, on the 1st of November 2023, cross-examination of Constable Buthelezi. Advocate Mngomezulu, on your behalf, indicated that the uncle was not there. Another version.
Sesiyandlula ke manje siya kwelinye ilanga nge-1 zika November kulo nyaka odlule u2023 kuseyena ummeli wakho Mr. Mngomezulu ubuza yena ke noma usho kuyena ke uButhelezi manje uthi okwenzeka ke ukuthi makufikwa lapho kwafikwa umalume kodwa ke ungekaphenduli umalume ngekho kodwa ummeli wakho uzoyiphendula le ndawo.
My Lord, may I seek clarity from my colleague as to the version that was put first, if it is contrary to what I've put to Constable Buthelezi on the 1st of November. Who put that version to Munareng? I just want my colleague to clarify that.
Yes, this was put by Mr. Ramusepedi. Okay. So do you realize that these are two mutually destructive versions?
Manje lana kuney'nkulumo embili ezihlukile. Uyabona le ekhulunywe ngayo yokuqala yange 13 ka October 2023. Inkulumo yona ke kuthiwa eyakhulunywa ummeli wakho uMr Ramusipile eyikhuluma kuyena uMunareng. Kwase kuthi ngazo i1 November 2023. Kwase manje kuvela enye inkulumo uma manje sekuwuButhelezi olana sekukhulu ebuzwa uyena uMr Mngomezulu. Ukuthi kwaba nezinkulumo ezimbili ezahlukile zibuya zombili kubameli bakho. Omunye uthi wayekhona umalume, omunye athi umalume wayengekho.
Angeke ngikwazi ukubakhulumela kodwa mina ngisho phambi kwale katolo ukuthi umalume mabefika abamficanga ngoba babuya bangitshela akukho umuntu endlini.
I cannot speak on their behalf, but what I'm saying is that we got there, they went in, and when they came back, they said that they didn't find my uncle in the house.
Are the legal representatives not conveying what you are telling them?
Ingabe abameli abakhulumi yini into wena obatshela yona? Mamagama lokho abakushoyo la enkantolo akusiyona yini into abayitshelwa uwe?
Nkosi katolo basuke bekhuluma yona kodwa uma engangizwanga kahle uma eseyibekile so ngeke ngikwazi ukuthi ngithi mina ngithini kodwa ngisuke ngazi ukuthi mina ngizoza phambi kwekatolo ngizochaza yonke into ngalendlela eyenzakalayo kimi.
Yes, my lord, they are, but at times it would be that if maybe the legal representative didn't understand me properly, my lord, and then would then put it in a different way, then I cannot do anything. But then knowing that my chance or my time will come for me to come and explain it.
We'll leave that for arguments. Let's proceed. Did you at any stage go to a hostel in Tembisa?
Ingabe sikhona yini isikhathi la owaya khona kwi hostel ethize eThembisa?
Cha, asikho.
No.
From Tembisa, where did you go to?
Mase nisuka ke eThembisa nahamba naya kuphi?
Baye bangisa endaweni kaMasipala eseFosforus.
They took me to a municipal area in Phosphorus.
Not in Tembisa.
Ayethembisa.
Mabe ngisusa kuMasipala waseThembisa bangibuyisela endlini.
When they
umbuzo wakho uthi masisuka eThembisa sike sayapi?
When they took me from the Tembisa municipal area, they took me back into the house. I thought your question was, from Tembisa, where did we go to?
Ukuyicacisa kahle. Uma ngizwa umbuzo wekosekatolo kuba sengazuthi masiphuma eThembisa sike sayapi?
I would like to explain it properly. I thought the question was that when we left Tembisa, where did we go to?
Let's pause there. Before you go to the hostel, let's go back at the place where you were arrested at. How were you dressed on that day in question?
Asike sibuye umuva ke siye la ankathi ke uboshwa ngalela langa ke uboshwa wawugqoke kanjani?
Angigqoke uBrentwood sky blue.
a sky blue Brentwood,
ngigqoke ivesta emhlophe,
white vest,
ngigqoke i-tracksuit ye-Adidas phezulu,
and a Adidas top,
ngigqoke i-obhaca be-Adidas.
as well as some slip-ons or push slip-ons or Adidas.
Sergeant Mohola came before this court and testified that the reason why you have to change your clothes is that you are afraid that some inmates there will steal your expensive pair of pants. Is that correct?
Kubufakazi bakhe ke umkhula nkathi elana enkantolo wathi izathu sokuthi uhambe uyoshintsha wena ke kwangoba ukuthi wawusaba ukuthi ke ezinye iziboshwa noma iziboshwa ejele zazontshontsha ibhuku lakho libizayo.
Cha, akaze kwenzeke kanjalo.
No, it never happened like that.
Furthermore, she testified that at some stage when you were with her at Muzi hostel in Tembisa, you made certain admissions.
Okunye futhi akusho ukuthi ke nkathi ke nanise hostel yaseVusumuzi khona eThembisa zikhona izinto ezithile owazisho noma owayivuma kuyena.
Cha, kosekatola akaze ngivume lutho kuyena.
No, my lord.
Akaze ngize ngiye ehostel yaseThembisa futhi.
I never admitted to anything to her, and I never went to a hostel in Tembisa.
She further testified that not at any stage you were taken to a municipal area in Tembisa.
Ushilo futhi nokuthi akaze nje kwenzeka ukuthi ke usiweke kwindawo kaMasipala eThembisa.
Kosekatolo ngoba ngizela ngizochaza wona lonto leyo. Ukungise kumasipala waseThembisa mabe ngisusa endlini. Bangithathe bangisa kumasipala waseThembisa, sabuya kumasipala waseThembisa bangibuyisela endlini, sasuka endlini base bengisa efosola simasipala wakhona.
My lord, I am here to explain exactly that I was taken from the house to the municipal area in Tembisa, and from there took me back to the house, and from the house they then took me to Foslaras municipal area.
Thank you. Now let us go back inside the shack. According to Buthelezi, they recovered ammunition inside that particular shack.
Asibuyele khona manje phakathi ke emkhukhwini loyana ke ngokubufakazi bakhe ubuthelezi ukuthi bathola ke inhlamvu kuya mkhukhu loya.
Cha, kosekatola akaze kwenzeke kanjalo.
No, my lord, it never happened like that.
And it's also correct that at some stage you were attending a court at Tembisa Magistrate Court.
Akusona iqiniso yini ukuthi ke kunenkathi la khona ke wawuneqala wawuhambela noma wawuhamba inkantolo yaseThembisa?
Inkantolo yaseThembisa bengihamba.
Yes, that's correct, my lord.
Do you recall which charges were you facing there?
Usakhumbula ukuthi ayiwapha amaqala owabhekene nawo khona lapho?
Yebo ngiyakhumbula.
Yes, I recall.
Can you place them on record?
Sicela washo.
Babethi nginecala lenhlamvu, babethi nginecala lama drugs.
They allege that I had charges of ammunition as well as drugs.
Okay. Before I leave this point, the ammunition charge, where does it originate?
Manje leli icala leinhlamvu lona laqhamuka kuphi libuya kuphi?
Angilazi babebuya nalo kuphi kodwa bangichacha ngalo.
I don't-
Ukuthi babe qhamuka phi na? Angibazi.
I don't know where they originated from with it. As to where they got it from, I don't know. But they charged me for that.
It was the evidence of Mr. Constable Buthelezi before this court that ammunition was recovered inside your shack.
Kwakuwubufakazi bakhe ke ubuthelezi phambi kwayo ke lenkantolo lena ukuthi ke inhlamvu lezo zatholakala kuwona umkhukhu lo uhlala kuwona.
Kosekatolo cha, azikho inhlamvu ezatholakala lo mkhukhu ahlala kuona nomalume.
No, my lord, there were no ammunition recovered or found in the shack that I was staying in together with my uncle.
And then, on that aspect, when did you appear for the first time in relation to the ammunition charge?
Manje ke uma ubingelela imantshi okokuqala mayelana nalezo insolo lezo zeinhlamvu, iliphi ihlandla lokuqala owavela ngalo enkantolo uvelela lona lelo cala?
Kwakuzi 1 June.
It was on the 1st of June, unyaka
When last
2020.
when last did you attend to that particular case?
Ihlandla lokugcina ke uma uvelela yona leyo case leyo kwakunini?
zi-12 December 2023.
12 December 2023.
Was there any finding in that particular case?
That question is disallowed
Yes, God, please.
because it has no relevance to a trial within a trial, but also it's self-incriminating if he answers it. I don't know the facts.
Yes, God, please.
Okay.
Now let us proceed. Now let us go back at the stage where you were at Fosloras with Mohola and Buthelezi when Brigadier Gininda arrived.
Asiyeke manje eFosloras nkathi ulaphana kanye naye uMukhula noButhelezi kwase kufika noGininda.
Mangisefosoras nganginomhula noma Phumulo nomnarengi noButhelezi bonke lamaphoyisa la no Ncamane ayemaningi amaphoyisa lapha kwangisibona labo bobabili.
It was not only the two that you are mentioning, Mukhola, Maphumulo, Buthelezi, Ncamane, Munareng. Sorry?
Ayemaningi.
There were many of them.
And then when Gininda arrived, what happened?
Uma sekufika ke uGininda kwenzekani?
Makufika uGininda baye bama ukungishaya indlela engishaya ngayo wababizele eceleni bakhanda i-meeting yabo eceleni mabeqeda wasebuya kimi waseqalisa ukungibuza imibuzo.
When Gininda arrived, they stopped assaulting me in the manner in which they were. They held a private meeting. They then came back and Gininda started to ask me questions.
Tell me, were they assaulting you in an open place, or it was inside an office, or what was the situation there?
La ababekushayela khona babekushayela nje endaweni nje ebonakalayo evulekile noma babekushayela phakathi ehhovisi.
Kwakuyinto engathi ihhovisi noma ngingazi ukuthi ngingachaza ngithi ihhovisi kanjani kodwa kwakuyinto engiyivisi ngoba kwangesiyona open space ngangekho egcekeni.
It's something that resembled or looked like an office, although I can't describe it, but it looked like an office because it was not an open space. I was not, say, in a particular premises.
And he said Gininda started asking you questions. What type of questions?
Uthi ke uGininda wasekubuza imibuzo enjani?
Ukuthi ngazi ngokufa kwaSenzo.
As to what it is that I knew with regards to Senzo's death.
And then what was your response?
Wasuthini umuphendula?
Ngamtshela ukuthi angazi lutho ngokufa kwaSenzo.
I told him that I knew nothing about Senzo's death.
And then what did Gininda do after that?
Wasenzani yena ke uGininda emuva kokuthi ushilo?
Wathi yena uyazi ukuthi kuneqhaza engalibambayo ekufeni kwaSenzo.
He then said that he knew that I played a role in Senzo's death. Is that correct? Okay.
And then what followed after that?
Kwasekulandelana emuva kwalokho?
Ngamtshela ukuthi angazi lutho ngokufa kwaSenzo.
I told him that I knew nothing about Senzo's death.
And then immediately what happened after that response?
Emuva kwaleyo mpendulo kwasekwenzekani?
Wasethi akaqala ukusebenza labantu abafana nami so ngizokhuluma iqiniso.
He then said that it was not the first time working with people like me, so I will eventually tell the truth.
Yes, and after that, what transpired?
Emva kwalokho kwenzekani?
Emva kwesikhashanyana wase kubetha singene emotweni sami.
After a while, they then said that we should get into the cars and leave.
Okay. How were you assaulted there at Fosloras?
eFosloras washaywa kanjani?
Babe ngishupha nakhona bengikhahlele.
They were cubing me and kicking me.
Who was involved?
Kwaku obani?
oke lamaphoyisa sengiwabalile omhola omnarengi omaphumulo obuthelezi omabhena ongcamane
All the police,
bonke babekhona laphaya Yibo
all the
ababe-
police that I've
so
mentioned,
angikwazi ukubabona mase ngilele phansi ngifakwe ngeplastiki ukuthi ubani nobani ongishayayo.
uma ufuna ngisho yonke into eshoyo ngiyacela mfethu manje. Usufuna usho into eningi ngesikhathi esisodwa ne. Ngicela unqamuke mfethu. Ngiyacela baba. Ngiyacela. It's all the police officers that I had mentioned. The likes of Mukhola, Buthelezi, Maphumulo, Munareng, Ngamane, and when I was lying down and also covered with the plastic, there was no way that I could see everyone, or all of them that were there.
So the same participants that participated as per your evidence in Tembisa, Litabong, is still the same participants at Fosloras.
Kusho ukuthi bonke laba ababembandakanyeka noma babambe iqhaza ke laphayana eThembisa kwakuseyibona naseFosloras kwakuseyibona bonke.
Yeah.
Yes,
Tubing, kicking,
benza into eyodwa ukushuba kanye nokukhahlela.
Indlela nje ababengishaya ngayo yiyo leyo.
That is the manner in which they were assaulting me.
and at Fosloras, you did not mess yourself up, you did not wet your pants.
eFosloras khona ke uma kwenzeka ke lokho awuzange nje wena ke uyimoshele la kwena noma uyichamele.
Efosora sawazange zengicane khona.
I did not urinate on myself in Fosloras.
But the degree of violence was still the same role players.
Kodwa ke indlela ababekushaya ngayo kwakuseyindlela eyodwa futhi kushaywa abantu abangahlukile ungaphenduli.
Firstly, it's about the dignity of this witness. Secondly, the witness has no knowledge about.
What's the dignity about, sir? How do you put urinate? And
No.
Gomezulu,
Yes.
you are saying it's about the dignity. How do you express that? Because when Mr. Sibande placed it in a manner which indicated what he, Sibande, says, the witness said, he said he doesn't understand him. And the court interjected and said, messing up and urinating.
Yes.
That's the problem we have.
Now the problem is that we're still talking about the same thing that tarnishes the dignity of the witness. Secondly, my lord, the witness cannot has no expertise or knowledge as to if he's assaulted and wet for the first time, then the second time, if the same assault is committed in the same fashion.
I don't understand you, Mr. Gomezulu. You say he has no knowledge
Yes,
of what happened to him when he was being assaulted.
for the first time. It's something that could happen to him if he was assaulted in the same manner, and the results will be the same by wetting himself.
So that question must be withdrawn.
It must be withdrawn.
The objection is disallowed. You can continue, sir.
Let's go, please.
Umeli wakho ke ebethi ke umela ke indaba ke ukuthi ucela isithunzi sakho ke sibhekwe ke ngendlela ke umbuzo obenziwa ngayo kodwa ke umehluleli useyamkhumbuza ukuthi lo mbuzo ububuziwe ke nayizolo ke akukho nje ukuhlanganiswa nesithunzi la uyamvumela umshushisi ukuthi angaqhubeka ke awubuze.
So what was the response?
Uthini ke uma uyiphendulela?
Ethembisa ila engachama khona. Efosoras angazange ngisachama.
It's in Tembisa where I urinated, but I did not urinate in Fosloras.
Okay, let us proceed now. Now you get into the cars and leave. Where did you go to?
Manje ke ningene emotweni niyahamba naya kuphi?
Ngabona sesingena eSoweto police station yase Deepkloof.
I just saw when we entered a police station in Soweto, Deepkloof.
And then who was present there?
Obani ababekhona lapho?
Masifika police station yase Deepkloof, uKininda, umhola, umabhena, uncamane, ilokhene lo ngimkhohlwa ukuthi wakubani. Kube ubuthelezi, umaphumulo, umnarengi, oJonathan, babe baningi abama-traffic cop abayenza
Okay.
kakhulu.
Bayi-9 ke labantu babaliwe. Uthi uGininda. It was Gininda, Mukhola, Buthelezi, Munareng, Ngamane, it's the kennel which I have forgotten. Bani ngambizanga? Jonathan. Bize abantu abawu-9, bawu-8 manje. Okay, I can't remember the other one, but the witness had mentioned 9 names.
9 names.
So upon arrival there, where did you go to?
Manifika khona lapho na yakuphi nendawo.
Masifika lapha e-police station Deepkloof saya endaweni engathi i-courtyard or i-courtyard. Masifika khona masiqeda ukungena uGininda naye wayekhona lapho phakathi.
When we got there, we went to a place that resembled or looked like a courtyard. And upon arrival there, Gininda was there.
What happened inside that courtyard?
Kwenzekani phakathi kuleyo courtyard leyo?
Into yokuqala eyenzekile uGininda kwangibuza umbuzo kuqala.
Yebo. The first thing that happened was that Gininda asked me a question.
What was the question?
Wawuthini umbuzo wakubuza wona?
Wabuza ukuthi namanje angafuna ukusho ukuthi usenze sambulala kanjani.
He said to me or asked me, still you don't want to tell as to how you, now the you is in plural, my lord, how you killed Senzo.
And what was your response?
Wathini uma uphendula?
Amtshela ngathi angazi lutho ngokufa kwaSenzo.
I told him that I knew nothing about Senzo's death.
And then what transpired after your response?
Umusa uphendulile, kwenzekani?
Wathi namanje angafuna ukusebenzisana
Then-
nawo. So uzongishiya nalabo abantu labo beqhubeke nokungishaya.
He then said that I still didn't want to cooperate with him, so he was going to leave me with those people so they could proceed assaulting me.
Yes, and then did they proceed to assault you?
Ngabe baqhubeka ukukushaya?
Yebo baqhubeka.
Yes, they did.
How were you assaulted?
Kanjani, bakushaya kanjani?
Babengishupha bengikhahlela abanye.
Chopping me and the others were kicking me.
At what stage did Colonel Mboto arrive?
Yena ke uzofika kusiphi isigaba ke uKennel Mbotho.
uKhelen Mboto ufika vele basangishaya. Mayefika kulaba mekhona ukungishaya.
When Colonel Mbotho arrived, they were still assaulting me. And so they stopped immediately when he arrived.
So he could see them assaulting you.
Kusho ukuthi uKennel Mbotho wababona uma bekushaya.
Wababona.
He saw them.
And then where was Gininda at that stage?
Ngaleso sikhathi leso uGininda yena wayekuphi nendawo.
Wayephumile ngoba waphuma esikhathi mabezongishaya. Wathi ungishiya nabo ukuthi bengishaya waphuma.
He had gone out because just before they would assault me, he said that he was going to leave me with them in order for them to proceed in assaulting me.
Did he at any stage return?
Sikhona isikhathi la abuya khona.
Simfice emaparking lawo kwayekhona imoto khona lapha eDeepkloof.
We found him in the parking lot in where the vehicles were parked in Deepkloof.
It was the evidence of Brigadier Gininda that on the date in question, he was never at Deepkloof.
Kwakubufakazi bakhe ke uBrigadier Gininda ukuthi yena ngaleli langa leli okhuluma ngalo noma ofakaza ngalo akazaye yena eDeepkloof.
Why eDeepkloof?
He went to Deepkloof.
And it was also the evidence of Constable Buthelezi that he was never at Deepkloof on that day in question or night in question.
Naye ke uButhelezi ushilo ukuthi ngalelo langa lelo akaze aye eDeepkloof.
uButhelezi wayekhona eDeepkloof naye.
Buthelezi was also there in Deepkloof.
And the same applies to Mkhula.
Kanye naye uMkhula futhi ushilo.
bonke lawo bantu labo babekhona eDeepkloof ngikanye nabo lapha eDeepkloof.
All those people were there in Deepkloof. I was with them in Deepkloof.
It was put to Brigadier Gininda on the 22nd of January 2024, and I'll read from the record.
Ngizokufundela ke into eyashiwo kuyena uBrigadier Gininda ngazo i22 zika January 2024.
Just one clarity.
Ngaloqala ke siqala kulonyaka.
Ngomezulu, yes. What I want to put across to you is that what Mboto or Colonel Mboto has done with accused one and you were not present cannot be an evidence. To me. Yeah. Yes. That's what was said to Gininda, in essence.
Into eyashiwa ke lapha kuyena ke uBrigadier Gininda ngalelo langa lelo ishiwo uyena ke ummeli uMngomezulu ukuthi into eyenziwa uKenel Mbotho eyenza kumsolo noma kummangalelwa okoqala angeke ukwazike uyiqinisekisa noma uyazi ngoba wena wawungekho lapha ya.
Kosekatolo angicacise lento le. uGininda uye waphuma la bengishayela khona uMbotho mayengena kodwa uGininda
Let me explain this, my lord. Where I was assaulted, Gininda went out, and then kubeka
mase siphuma lapha ya sesiqedile lento ayizombotho uGininda simficile emaparkini la bekupake khona imoto.
when Colonel Mboto was now done with what he was doing, my lord, and we went out of there. When we arrived at the parking lot, that's where we found Gininda.
I further put it to you, said that you are fabricating a story.
Ngiyaqhubeka ke ngithi kuwena ke lento ikhuluma yinto nje oyikhelayo nemoyeni noma into nje oyakhayo ke manje amagama yinto engekho.
Cha akunjalo lokho engikhulumayo into eyenzakala kimi.
No, my lord, that's not the case.
Into engayibonayo.
Okay. What I'm saying, it's something that happened to me, something which I saw.
This is because even Colonel Mboto, during his testimony, indicated that Gininda was not there. If he was there, he would have given him the documents on the same day.
Ngoba ke ngithi into engekho ngoba naye uKenel Mboto kubufakazi bakhe wayasho ukuthi uBrigadier Gininda wayengekho lapha yana ngaleli yalanga. Uma kuukuthi uGininda wayekhona ngabe ama documents la ayawabhala yena uKenel Mboto wamnikeza ngalelo langa lelo uBrigadier Gininda.
Kosekatolo uGininda wayekhona lapha ya and akekho owaziyo njengamanje ukuthi uGininda wathatha nenda amaphepha la ngaphandle ukuthi kusho yena kodwa mina ngithi lapha ya eDeepkloof wayekhona.
My lord, I'm saying Gininda was there on that day in Deepkloof, and no one knows as to when exactly he took or he got hold of those documents except that which he is saying, but I am saying he was there.
Okay, let us proceed. The part where you say you came across Gininda at the parking lot at Deepkloof was never put to Brigadier Gininda.
Lokho kushoyo ukuthi nathi uma seniphuma ke seqedile uKenel Mboto manifika lapha yana kuphaka khona imoto namfica khona uBrigadier Gininda. Ngathi uBrigadier Gininda la enkantolo ummeli wakho akakaza kusho lokho kuyena uGininda ukuthi Gininda bakufica useparkini wena la kuphaka khona imoto. Ngamagama uthi into eshiwo wena manje ayikaze ishiwo kuyena uGininda.
Yes, mina ngizokwethula ubufakazi bami manje la enkantolo ngizosho kwenzakalayo konke.
Yes, my lord, I am here to give my testimony. I am here to explain or to say everything that happened.
See, now we're going back to that answer.
Manje sesihlela umuva sibuyela kuleyo mpendulo futhi. Okay, can you explain what you say?
I am saying to you that answer you are giving takes us back to even yesterday's line of questioning.
ukuthi le mpendulo inikezayo manje isibuyisela ke kuyimpendulo noma ke kwimibuzo yayizolo.
Okay.
Okay, let us proceed. Okay. Let's proceed. I then put it to you that which you say now, that you found Gininda at the parking lot, you deprived this court of getting clarity regarding the whereabouts of Gininda.
Ngithi kuwena lokho kushoyo manje ukuthi uGininda namfica la ekumisa noma ekuphaka khona imoto ukuthi wena ke uvimbe noma ke unqabelele enkantolo yokuthi yazi ukuthi ngaleli yalanga leliyana uGininda waye kuphi nendawo.
Inkosi enkantolo namanje ngiyasho uGininda wayelapha eDeepkloof ngalo lolo suku lo ngase lesasikhathi masiphuma ngaphakathi kumbotho samfice sesepakini ekade ekhona ngaphakathi lapha ecourt yard ngakhuluma naye mina wasuka lapho waphuma basala bangishaya waseya lapha samfica khona.
My Lord, I'm still saying, or I am saying that Gininda was there. We found him at the parking lot. My Lord, he had left me inside where those people continued assaulting me, and he was also at the courtyard where I personally spoke to him.
Then Gininda told this court that on the date in question, and I think I've asked this question before, he was at Eraten at the provincial offices of South African Police Services.
Ngicabanga ukuthi lo mbuzo bengikubuzileke noma bengikushiloko kwenakho ukuthi uGininda yena akushilo la enkantolo ukuthi ngalelo langa lelo ke waye kuma office amaphoyisa ase Eraten.
Cha, akaze kwenzeke kanjalo.
No, it never happened like that.
Did you hear him when he gave that particular piece of evidence?
Umzwile noma wabuzwa yini uma wayikusho lokho la enkantolo ukuthi wayese Eraten yena ngalelo langa wamuzwa yini uma esho?
Ngicela ungawuphenduli lo mbuzo.
Ask not to answer that question.
Do you have a particular reason why?
Unesizathu
Ngoba sengisho kaningi ukuthi uGininda akaze eze bese Eraten ngalesa sikhathi lesiyaya.
because I've said it many times that at that particular time Gininda was never at Eraten.
Thank you. And then what happened to you after you left Deepkloof?
Kwasekwenzekani ke kuwena uma manje senihambile ke eDeepkloof?
Mabeqeda ukwenza meeting yabo lapha eDeepkloof bangithatha bangifaka emotweni sahamba ngabona sesingena eVelalia.
After they finished with the meeting that they held there, I was placed in the vehicle. We then proceeded, and then I just saw when we entered Valeria.
And then Gininda further told this court that after the statement that you took, or Colonel Mbodo took from you, you were then taken back to his offices.
Okunye futhi uGininda noma ke uBrigadier Gininda akutshelele enkantolo ukuthi emuva kokuthi ke uKenel Mbothe eseqedile ke ukuthatha lesa statement asithatha kuwena ke wahamba ke wena waya emahhovisi akhe uGininda noma ehhovisi lakhe uGininda.
Cha, akwenzakalanga kanjalo ngaze ngiye emahhovisini kaGininda.
No, it didn't happen like that. I never went to Gininda's office.
And then he further testified that after that process, he spoke to you and then you look bit at ease and relieved.
Ushila nokuthi ke futhi ke emuva kwalokho ke wakhuluma wena naye ke wabonakala futhi nje nanjengomuntu nje ogculisekile umuntu okhululekile.
Cha, akaze ngikhulume naye.
No, I never spoke to him.
And then he further told this court that That is when he then requested Sergeant Mohola with the escort to go and detain you so that the following day they can follow the information of the traditional healer.
Waqhubeka ke wathi yila khona ke asecela khona ke manje umhula kanye nalabo futhi ababemphelekezela ukuthi bahambe ke manje uyovalelwa ke ukuthi ke ngelanga elilandelayo bazose beqhubeka ke manje beyophenya ke udaba lolu owawumtshele lona ke wena lenyanga.
Cha kosekatolo ayikho into engayitshena uGeninda ngenyanga lenkulumo akhuluma ngayo uadvocate angiyazi.
No, my lord, there was never a communication or talk with Brigadier Geninda about a traditional healer. What the advocate is saying here now, I know nothing about.
We'll get back to that. Now, I want clarity from you, Mr. Sibiya. The so-called statement that was made in front of Colonel Mboto. Did you make such a statement, or it was a statement that was already prepared?
Fisa ke manje uchazelwa wena ke Mr. Sibiya ukuthi ke is statement lesi ke ekuthiwa ke wasenza noma wasenza ke kuyena uKolonel Mboto. I statement esasesibhaliwe esalethwa kuwena noma i statement owasenza wena noma ke esabhalwa ukhona.
Cha I statement angaze ngize ngisibhale mina.
No, I never wrote a statement or made a statement.
I statement mina wangivezela amaphepha wathi angisayinela amaphepha la ukuthi ayibhalwe ini angazi.
He only produced documents to me and requested me to sign. As to what it is that was written on those documents, I don't know.
So are you telling this court now that the assault that you claim took place in Tembisa, Foslo Rice and Deepkloof was only to obtain your signature in that document?
Okushoyo manje ukuthi ukushoyo kwakho Deepkloof ushaywa eTembisa ushaywa uFosloras wawushayela nje into yodwa kuphela ukuthi wena awusayini amaphepha kuphela yiloko wawushayela.
Mabe ngishaya eTembisa babe ngibuza indaba kaSenzo ukufa kwakhe ngilokhu baphendula ngithi angazi lutho ukufa kaSenzo.
When they assaulted me in Tembisa, they were asking me about Senzo's death. I would tell them that I know nothing about Senzo's death.
eFosurasi mangifika khona futhi basangibuza ngayo imibuzo yokufa kaSenzo ngilokhu ngibatshela ngazi lutho ngokufa kaSenzo.
In Fosloras, they were still asking me about Senzo's death. I would tell them that I knew nothing about Senzo's death.
Beqhubeka bengishaya.
They kept on assaulting me.
Esowethu mangifika khona bangibuza ngokufa kaSenzo futhi beqhubeka bengishaya lokhu ngibatshela ngazi lutho ngokufa kaSenzo.
In Soweto, they were still asking me about Senzo's death. They proceeded assaulting me, and I told them that I knew nothing about Senzo's death.
Now you are with Colonel Mboto. He told this court that when he spoke to you, there was no one inside that particular room.
Manje ke wena ke uhlezi naye uKolonel Mboto wayitshela ke lenkantolo uKolonel Mboto ukuthi ke nkathi wawunaye ke kulelo room lelo yayinina nababili kuphela kwangekho omunye umuntu owayekhona.
Cha angaze ngibe noMboto sobabili.
No, I've never been with Mboto only.
And those 9 people that you mentioned were inside that particular room.
Futhi labantu laba bonke babalile abawu8 abawu9 bonke babephakathi kulelo room lelo.
Bangaphezulu ka8 babe ngaphakathi kulelo room lelo.
More than 8, they were inside that room.
And then did Colonel Mboto interview you?
Ingaba waba nenhlolo khono interview nawe yini uKolonel Mboto?
Yeah, bikhona imibuzo ayimbuza yona.
Yes, he was asking me questions.
Did he ask you if you are employed?
Ingaba wakubuza yini ukuthi uyasebenza?
Angisayikhumbula imibuzo angibuza yona.
I can't remember the questions he asked me.
Did he ask you your date of birth?
Ingaba wakubuza yini ukuthi wazalwa nini?
Angisayikhumbula imibuzo angibuza yona.
I can't remember the questions he asked me.
Do you know what time you arrived at Soweto Deepkloof?
Usasikhumbula yini isikhathi owafika ngaso eSoweto eDeepkloof?
Cha iwashi ngangenayo.
Sorry. No, I didn't have a watch.
Do you remember what time you left?
Sasikhumbula isikhathi owahamba ngaso?
Cha, iwashi ngangenayo.
No, I didn't have a watch.
Do you recall Colonel Mboto asking you your name?
Usamkhumbula yini uKenel Mboto ekubuza igama lakho?
Imibuzo angibuza wona ngisayikhumbula.
I can't remember the questions he asked me.
Do you recall Colonel Mboto warning you in terms of the Constitution?
Usakhumbula yini uKenel Mboto exwayisa mayelana ke nawo umthetho sisekelo?
Cha, akaze ngixwayisa.
No, he never warned me.
Very interesting. That part you remember very well.
Lokho kona uyakhumbula kahle nje.
Ngumuntu ophila emhlabeni ezinye izinto uyayikhohlwa ezinye uyayikhumbula.
I'm someone who lives on this earth. You forget some things you remember.
Good. So it's possible, as someone who lives on this universe, that you forget or you forgot that you were warned of your rights.
Kungenzeka kanje ngomuntu oshoya ukuthi uphila khona la emhlabeni ke ukuthi ke wakhohlwa okusengenzeka ukuthi wakhohlwa ukuthi waxwayisa ngamalungelo akho.
Cha, akaze ngikhohlwa kangitshena kaniksi.
No, I haven't forgotten. He never told me anything.
Tell me, do you know your rights that you are supposed to give to you on that day?
Awungitshele uyawazi amalungelo akho owakufanele ukuthi uwanikiwe noma ukunikezile wona ngalelo langa lelo.
Anginayo impendulo yalapho.
I have no answer for that.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, sir. Why?
Kungani?
Because you've been answering. Is there a reason why you don't want to answer or you don't even answer?
Ngoba kade uphendula ingabe unaso yini izathu sokuthi uthi awunayo impendulo yalapho ngoba kade uphendula.
Okay, fine. Continue, Mr. Zibanda.
Scott, please. Say, are you tired? Do you want us to take a comfort break?
Uma ukuthi ufuna nje sithathe break ungasho ukhathe?
Okay.
No.
Do you recall placing your signature in that document that was completed by Colonel Mboto in the day or in the night in question?
Uyakhumbula yini usayinda kulelo phepha noma lawo maphepha lawo ayephethwe uyena uKenel Mboto ngalelo langa?
Yebo ngiyakhumbula.
Yes, I do recall.
And then placing an initial?
Nokuthi futhi ke kwangikukhona ukusayinda ukhona nokubeka ke amagama ungawabhali ngokuphelele kodwa ubeke nje ukuthi amagama ami aqala ngo lokho kuthiwa uinitial. Uyakhumbula ukwenza lokho?
Ngisho ngathi angisakhumbula ukuthi ama-initial ngawafaka yini.
I did mention that I can't remember as to whether I initialed or not.
In which language were you speaking to Colonel Mboto?
Wena naye ke uKenel Mboto nanikhuluma oluphi ulimi?
Ngikhumbula sengathi wayekhuluma isiZulu.
I think I remember he was speaking in isiZulu.
Could you understand him?
Wawumuzwa?
Ngangimuzwa.
Yes, I could.
And you already said that you do not remember the warning that was given to you. Let's move to the second question. When he asked you that you wish to make a statement, what was your response?
Usushilo ukuthi awukhumbuli ke ekubuza ke sorry engakubuzi kodwa exwayisa ngamalungelo akho. Kodwa manje ke okay. Ngabe yakhumbula yini ekubuza noma kubuza yini ukuthi ke uyafisa yini ukwenza istatimende?
Akaze ngibuze.
He never asked me.
And then do you recall when he asked you this question? Have you been assaulted or threatened by any person in order to influence you to come and make this statement?
Uyamkhumbula yini ekubuza ukuthi wasatshiswa yini? Washaywa yini? Ukuthi ke lokho kube nomthelela ekuthini uze uzokwenza le statement kumina phambi kwami yena uKenel Mboto.
Akaze ngibuze lo mbuzo lo.
He never asked me.
Umboto ufice ngishawa vele.
He never asked me that question.
Lokho lokushawa kwami uthi ngibonile ngishawa.
Uthethi le ugcina uthi kutheni?
Wayenolwazi lo.
Okay.
Because umbonile ngishawa.
He never asked me that question. And when Mboto arrived, I was being assaulted. So he had knowledge of me being assaulted.
Okay, let's proceed. And then did you volunteer to even inform him that other than you walking in during the assault, I was assaulted at Fosloras as well as Tembisa.
Asithi nanjengoba ushoke ukuthi uma engena ungene ushaywa ingaba manje ke wena ke usebenzisa legama sebenzisa kumshishi wa volunteer yini noma wamtshela wena njengokunokwakho ukuthi ngaphandle kokuthi ungibona ngishaywa la eFosloras kanye naseThembisa ngashaywa nakhona wakwenza lokho
engamtshena khona ukuthi lokhu ngiqale ukuboshwa emini lokhu ngishayela ukuthi bathi ngazi ngokufa kukaSenzo.
What I informed him was that since my arrest in the morning, I have been assaulted throughout the day. And sorry,
Ukuboshwa emini lokusuka emini.
mina ngitheni? I don't know. He seems to disagree with what I'm saying, so I don't understand now.
Ngamtshela lokhu kusuka emini isikhathi ngiboshwa ngishayela ukuthi bethi ngazi ngokufa kukaSenzo.
I informed him that since my arrest during the day that I've been being assaulted asked as to what it is that I know regarding Senzo's death.
And then, at what stage did you give him that information? That is very interesting.
Manje leyo information leyo wamnika ngasiphi ke isikhathi manje?
Bayingibuza ukuthi ngazi ngokufa kukaSenzo.
When he asked me as to what it is that I knew with regards to Senzo's death.
He just asked you that question out of the blue.
Wasuke nje wazibuzela nje lo mbuzo loyo.
Yebo wasukwayibuzela lo mbuzo lo.
Yes, he just asked that question.
Sorry, for my understanding, is that Mboto actually asking you that? Or?
Sikhuluma ngoba uMboto.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So he did not put any questions, he just asked you that question directly.
Akaza beke nje eminye imibuzo wavela nje ngqo wakubuza loyo mbuzo loyo ukuthi wazini ngokushona kaSenzo.
Izolo mangethula ubufakazi bami lakho sekatolo ngeke ngasho ukuthi uMbotho mayingena wathi ucela ukungibuza imibuzo embalwa wase ebuza ukuthi ngazini ukufa kukaSenzo
I
ngazini.
did say it yesterday, my lord, when I testified here that Colonel Mboto indicated to me that he would like to ask me a few questions. He then asked me what it is that I knew with regards to Senzo's death. I then told him that I knew nothing.
Okay, that's the first question. And what was his second question?
Owokuqala ke lo umbuzo wakhe wesibili wawuthini?
Ushilathi angisayikhumbule eminye imibuzo ayingibuzayo.
I did say that I can't remember the other questions that he asked me.
So if I give you an example now, I'm putting it to you that he did ask you if you were assaulted or threatened, what would be your comment?
Uma ngithi kuwena ke wakubuza ke ukuthi washaywa yini wasatshiswa yini ungaphendula uthini wena?
Akaze ngibuza.
He never asked. Sorry?
Ngathi cha.
I would say no, he never asked me.
But you see, you're contradicting yourself because you cannot remember some of the questions that he asked. But this specific question, you're saying no.
Ila ukhuluma uyiphikisa khona ke ngoba kusho wena ukuthi eminye imibuzo ayibuzi kodwa lana eminye imibuzo awuyikhumbuli kodwa lana uyasho uthi cha akakaza kubuze.
Ukuthi ngashawa.
That I was assaulted?
Yes.
Yebo.
Umbotho ukuthi ngashawa akaze ngibuze.
He never asked me as to whether I was assaulted.
Kodwa imibuzo bangithi angiyikhumbuli mara ukuthi akaze ngibuze ngiyakhumbula ukuthi akaze ngibuze.
When I say I can't remember questions, then I can't remember. But that he never asked me, yes, I am saying that he never asked me that question. I remember that.
And then he further went on to ask you, was this assault reported? If so, to whom and when?
Waqhubeka ke wakubuza ukuthi lokushaywa lokho wakubika yini noma washo yikhona yini wamtshela yini uma kuukuthi yebo wakusho noma ukhona wamtshela kubani nini.
Ngibuza uMbotho.
Yebo ufunda umbuzo imibuzo athi yabuzwa uMbotho.
Yes.
Angikhumbuli Mboto engibuza lo mbuzo lo.
I can't remember Mboto asking me that question.
Is it that because you cannot recall or the question was not asked?
Ingabe uthi ingoba ungakhumbuli noba umbuzo awukazi ubuzwe?
Akaze ngibuze lo mbuzo njengalowo.
He never asked me such a question.
So now you are certain.
Manje unesiqiniseko?
Akaze ngibuze lo mbuzo.
He never asked me that question.
Were you influenced or encouraged by any person to make a statement? Was that question asked?
Umbuzo othi ke ingaba kuye kwanomthelela yini noma waqhuquzelwa yini ukuthi wenze le statement lesi? Wabuzwa loyo mbuzo loyo?
Cha.
No.
Okay. Just few minutes ago, you told this court that you said to Mboto you were assaulted earlier in Tembisa.
Kwimizuzu nje embalwa endluleke uqeda utshela lenkantolo ukuthi wena ke wamtshela uMbotho ukuthi washaywa eThembisa
And Fosloras.
nase Fosloras.
Kosekatolo ngiyayiphinda lo mbuzo ushuthi ubuyisibili. Ngithe uMbotho ngamtshela ukuthi kusuka emini ngiboshiwe lokhu ngishawa ngishayelwa lokhu bengibuza ngokufa kukaSenzo. Angaze ngimtshele uMbotho ngishawe kuphi nakubo.
I'm repeating this because this question is coming again now, my lord, that I informed Colonel Mboto that since my arrest during the course of the day, that I had been being asked about Senzo's death. I never specifically said that I told Mboto that I was assaulted where or where. In other words, mentioning the places.
But that answer you just gave now, it aligns with the following questions. Have you been assaulted, threatened by any person in order to influence you to come and make this statement?
Kodwa ke loyo mbuzo lempendulo lena uqeda uyinikeza manje iyahlangana ke nalombuzo lona ukuthi washaywa wasatshiswa yini ushayelwa noma usatshiselwa ukuthi uze wena uzokwenza le statement lesi uzosenza phambi kwami.
Cha, ayihlangani.
No, it doesn't align.
That's fine. Have any promise been made to you by any person if you should make a statement?
Ingaba kunesithembiso yini esenziwa kuwena senziwa noma ubani uthi uze uzokwenza istatement?
Ikosekatolo buzo uthiwa ngibuza nalo.
Are you asking whether he asked me that?
Yes, Mr. Sibiya.
Yebo baba Sibiya.
Akaze ngibuza.
He never asked me.
Mr. Sibiya, all the questions that I'm directing them to you.
Yonke lemibuzo engiyibuza kuwena Mr. Sibiya.
Ibuzwa yikosekatolo njengamanje.
As in now.
Mr. Sibiya, are we on the same page?
Ingaba sihamba sonke baba Sibiya.
Kosekatolo ngicela kosekatolo ngicela ingibuza imibuzo manje ukuthi kumele ngiphendule yona noma ibuza ukuthi uMbotho wangibuza yini lembuzo.
Are you asking me the questions as in now, or are you asking as to whether Mboto did ask me these questions?
I'm narrating what's in this document, Exhibit FF. If you were asked a question of this nature by Colonel Mboto.
Angibeke kanjena ke baba Sibiya. Yabona le document analo kuyena ke umshushisi lapha yana. Ile document lena ke ubaba uMbotho. Just a moment bese ngomezulu. Ile document ubaba uMbotho aweza la enkantolo wathi yilona awayeligcwalisa elibhala ukhona. Manje yonke imibuzo ebhalwe lapha yana athi uMbotho wakubuza yona. Ukubuza kanjalo.
With all fairness, my lord, all what was happening in Deepkloof police station was recorded down by Mboto as per that pro forma. Any question that has been asked by Mboto or to Mboto or from Mboto, he referred to what was written because he jotted those events in a paper. What is not fair to the state on this witness is to push this witness to recollect or recall everything that happened when he had no paper, when he had nothing to record on. That is not fair to this witness.
I fail to understand you. All Mr. Sibande is trying to ascertain is whether all those questions which appear on the pro forma were asked by Mboto. It's a fair question.
My lord, the only question that he can recall.
No, you are giving evidence now.
No. My lord, my point is, my colleague is going through all the questions that
are annotated on the pro forma.
On the pro forma.
And according to the evidence which, according to him, according to this gentleman, Mr. Yes, but he says, Mboto asked those questions. So that's a fair question.
Yeah, but how can you recall if he says
I don't know.
other
I'm not
answers?
accused.
Yes, it's not fair to him.
No, it's fair, sir. This form was tabled in this court, and according to that form, it appears that there are questions which, according to Mboto, he traversed with the accused. The accused is correct, right, and entitled to deny all that. But Mboto, according to what this gentleman, the prosecutor, is saying, traversed those questions. Okay. So you can continue that vein, sir.
Inkantolo ithi ke singaqhubeka ngale mibuzo ngoba ummeli wakhe bethi cha
And
ke.
what was not traversed was the essence of the statement, because this is what we are about now. Whether that statement was actually ever made or whatever. Okay. And if it was made, whether it is admissible or not, I don't know.
So inkantolo yamvumela kumshushisi ukuthi angaqhubeka ngale mibuzo bekubuza yena ke kule form lena esithi ke iyona uKenel Mboto awayesebenza ngayo ngalela langa.
Sorry, what's that form? FF, what's the
Exhibit FF, my lord. FF.
FF, yeah. Can recall that.
What was the last question?
Have any promise or promises been made to you by any person if you should make a statement?
Ingaba sikhona yini isithembiso izithembiso ezenziwa kuwena noma ubani ke uma kungathi noma uma kungawukuthi ungenza istatement. So ngakaphendula.
My lord, if the court may
Are you
allow
acting
me.
for accused number 1 now?
No, my lord, I'm just standing on the line of cross-examination. My lord, the state is referring the witness to the document. If maybe
Which
it can-
document?
the document which is Exhibit FF, my lord.
FF.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If it can be cleared to the witness that Colonel Mboto also asked this. Colonel Mboto also asked this, my lord,
Okay.
so that there would be no confusion from the accused.
Fine. Have you heard that, Mr.
Thank you, my lord.
Please. Can that be translated so that it comes from the defense counsel?
I think I've already done that. I did that. That's why I explained to him what the form is about. I think I've already done it. Angithi ngichazele ukuthi ngani leya form.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I did that.
Okay. So what is the response?
Kosekatolo. Umbotho imibuzo engibuza yona angikhumbuli kodwa lembuzo le engibuzwa umshushisi ayifunda lapha phansi le aseyifundile kusuka manje kuya le phezulu akaze umbotho angibuze yona.
My lord, the questions that were posed to me by Colonel Mboto, I cannot recall them. But the questions that have just been posed now to me by the state from the top going down, Colonel Mboto never asked me those questions.
So you do not recall what Mboto asked you as per this pro forma, or you do not recall today when I ask you?
Can I get an extra copy, please? Can I get an extra copy?
No, I just have one copy.
I'm sure the defense does have an extra copy.
What document is it?
Exhibit FF, my lord.
Okay.
Uthi ke lemibuzo elana ebhaliwe ke kule form lena ke ekuyizibiti ke uFF ukuthi ke uKenel Mboto akaze akubuze lemibuzo ebhaliwe khona la.
Cha akaze angibuze.
No, he never asked me.
So, okay, the last answer that you gave me that I want to build on is that you do not recall today if those questions were put to you on the 30th of May 2020. I want clarity there.
Engifuna ukuchazela noma ucacelwa kuona ke ukuthi ke awukhumbuli yini ukuthi lemibuzo lena wayibuzwa yini ngazo i30 zika May 2020 awukhumbuli yini?
Ngicela ukuphinde Kosekatolo. Lembuzo le umshushisi sangifundele yona ukusuka la agcine khona kuyaphezulu akazi umbotho angibuze. imibuzo engayibuza umbotho ngiyasho ngithi angisayikhumbuli kodwa mangifundela le akazange ezeyibuza.
May I explain this again, my lord, that the questions that were just posed to me by the state now, from there where the state ended going up, that those questions were never asked to me by Kenyan Mboto. But the questions that were posed to me by Kenyan Mboto, I cannot recall them now.
So now, very interesting, Mr. Sibiya. You recall the questions that he asked you then. What are those questions? The questions that Mboto asked on the 30th of May, which are different from these ones that are in this pro forma, up until number 10.1, 10. Okay, let me start. I am saying he does not recall that Mboto asked these particular questions as per the pro forma.
Okay, okay.
So
Now he says he never asked them.
these questions were never asked.
Yeah, that's his evidence.
Yes,
That's
yes.
The questions on that form, FF, were never asked
to you.
by Mboto.
Yes, so I want
But
to.
Mboto apparently did ask some questions, and witness Mr. Sibiya says he does not remember those questions. That's his
yes,
evidence.
yes. I wanted clarity on that. Thanks, my lord. I'm indebted to this court. So the questions that were put by Mboto, you cannot recall them.
Okushoyo ukuthi imibuzo wayibuzwa ubaba uMbotho awuyikhumbuli. Imibuzo akubuza yona awuyikhumbuli.
Ngoba sengishilo ukuthi eminye imibuzo engayibuza umbotho angiyikhumbuli. Kodwa le eminye ngikhumbula njengokuthi ngazini ngokufaka Senzo ngiyawukhumbula lo wangibuza.
As I've already said, my lord, that some of the questions that were asked by Kenyan Mboto cannot remember them. But some of the questions, like the question, what do I know about Senzo's death, I can remember that question.
Lo ukuthi mangiqeda ukukhipha izandla kanje ngifayile ngisayine lama document la abona khona ukuthi ngilimele uyabuza ukuthi athi ngilimele kanje.
As well as when I was supposed to sign, and I then placed my hands in the front, and I was supposed to be, the handcuffs were supposed to be loosened. He then saw that I was injured, and then he asked, "But is it how injured you are?"
So those are the two questions that he asked.
Iyona le imibuzo emibili ayibuza.
Umbotho miningi imibuzo ayibuzayo kodwa yiyo le engikhumbulayo eminye ngiyasho ukuthi angisayikhumbuli.
There were many questions that were asked by Kenyan Mboto, but it's those two that I'm saying that I can recall. I cannot remember, recall the other questions.
Okay. I think I skipped the question. He asked then, this is what Mboto asked, according to this pro forma. Have you at any time in the past made a statement? It's not clear yet. To any person concerning this incident? That was question 7.
Oh, lana uyabuza ke ingaba kwesikhathi esindlulileke khona la khona ke wake wenza istatement khona noma kuwuphi umuntu mayelana nalesigameko lesi ukhona umuntu ngaphambilini owenza istatement kuyena mayelana nalesi sigameko lesi.
Cha, umbotho akaze ngibuze futhi umbuzo.
No, Mboto never asked me that question.
Okay. We skip 7.1. Why do you wish to repeat the statement? Was such a question ever posed to you by Mboto?
Sizomdlula ke u7.1 umbuzo olandelayo ke uthi kungani ke ufisa noma ufuna noma ufisa ukuthi ke usiphinde lesi statement lesi umbuzo onjalo wabuzwa uMbotho?
Cha, akaze ngibuze.
No, he never asked me.
Were you arrested? Was that question asked?
Waboshelwa kuphi noma waboshwa kuphi? Wawubuza lo mbuzo lo?
Cha, akaze ubuze.
No, he never asked it.
And in your response was that I was arrested at Tembisa while standing on the street.
Waphendula ke wathi ngaboshelwa eThembisa nkathi ngimile estradini.
Cha, akaze ngimphendule kanjalo.
No, I never answered to him like that.
When were you arrested?
waboshwa nini?
Cha, akaze ngibuze.
No, he never asked me.
And your response was that you were arrested on the 30th of May 2020 during the day and you do not remember the time.
Waphendula-ke ukuthi ngo-2020 kwinyanga yesihlanu ngeyi-30 ngaboshwa emini angisikhumbuli isikhathi.
Cha, kwesekatola akaze ngiphendule.
No, my lord, I never answered it.
Do you know what time you were arrested?
Uyasazi isikhathi waboshwa ngaso?
Yebo,
Yes.
What time was it?
Waboshwa ngesikhathini?
2-1,
Just before 1.
before 1.
Was that during the day?
Emini,
Emini.
during the day.
He asked, do you have any injuries? If so, how and when they were sustained?
Umbuzo olandelayo-ke ngokwakubhalelana-ke ulimele yini uma kuwukuthi kunjalo kanjani futhi nini noma walimala kanjani? When? Nini. Yes, walimala nini. Sorry, walimala nini.
Kwesekatola ngicela ukuchazisa akaze ubuze lo mbuzo uthuke bakumele ngisayine ukuthi kade ngilimele na mayebona izandla zami zinjani zivuza igazi zivuvukele.
My lord, let me explain. He never asked that question, but he got shocked when he saw my hands that they was bleeding and that my hands were swollen.
And in your response, yes, in both arms have marks due to handcuffs, they were very tight.
Wasuphendula-ke wena-ke ukuthi yebo-ke izandla zami-ke zombili-ke nginama-mark enginawo ngoma ukuthi-ke ozankosi laba bebeqinisiwe.
Cha, akaze ngimphendule kanjalo.
No, I never responded to him like that.
Nangalesikhathi ethi angisayina ngimphendulanga kanjalo.
Even at the time when he asked me to sign, I never answered him like that.
But is it not your testimony that when he saw that tight handcuffs, that's when the report followed that you were assaulted and that's how you sustained those injuries?
Bengasibona yini ubufakazi bakho ukuthi ngathi-ke ebona ukuthi ama-handcuffs lana aqinileke ila akhona-ke that's when he
Sustained those
okay
injuries.
ila abone khona ukuthi indlela leyo owalimala ngayo.
Kwesekatolo ngithe mabeqeda ukungiqhaqha ama-handcuff ngemuva ngoba izandla zami zayifaselwe ngemuva. Mangibuyisa ngaphambili ngilabona khona ukuthi ngilimalile.
What I said, my lord, was that after the handcuffs had been loosened at the back, because my hands were tied at the back, when I now moved my hands to the front, that's when he then saw that I was injured.
So are you telling this court that Mboto, out of his free will, he decided to answer this question in this particular fashion?
Ingabe manje wena okutshela inkantolo ukuthi yena-ke umbotho wase eyinqumela-ke noma eyikhethela-ke ukuthi lo mbuzo lo akawuphendule ngalendlela ophendule ngayo khona la kule form?
Kwesekatolo angeke ngikwazi ukuphendulela umbotho la ngizoyiphendulela imibuzo ebhekene nami.
My lord, I'm unable to answer on behalf of Colonel Mboto. I am here to answer questions that pertain to me.
And Mboto was here in this court.
Ucolonel Mboto bela kuyona le nkantolo?
Yeah.
Yes.
He did not challenge this statement. This particular, I'm not saying the whole document, I'm talking about 9.1. That I never told you this, you just wrote whatever that you wanted to write here.
Mayelana nalokho, I think it's 9, not 9.1.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Lokho
I think that's an unfair question because in the cross-examination of Mr. Mboto, this is what was put to Mr. Mboto by Mr. Muzi Sibiya. Mr. Sibiya says, the accused will come and say that when you interviewed him, you did not put the questions which are in the pro forma. So this aligns with what this witness is basically saying. So to specifically come and identify certain portion in the statement and say this witness did not challenge what was said by Mr. Mboto is totally unfair.
Yes,
To
Mr.
this
Swande.
witness.
Sir, what's your response?
My Lord, the witness is under cross-examination. If he so wishes, he can elect not to answer the question, and then we proceed.
No, but they say it was never framed that way by Mr. Muzi Sibiya. The way you're putting it to this witness.
So if I may understand, so are the defense saying now, this exhibit FF, it was not as a result of an interview between Sibiya and Mboto?
No, they're not saying that. They're saying the questions you ask arising from that are unfair.
Okay.
What's your view?
Well, I think it's a fair question, my Lord. He can answer. He's already given answers to other questions.
Okay, rephrase that question maybe, if you still want to continue with it.
Say, I'll get back to this question, my Lord. Are you now telling this court, so that we can shorten the proceedings, that whatever that I've been putting so far as the questions that Mboto put to you, it was not done on the 30th of May 2020?
Ukuthi nje siyenze ukuthi lokhu nje kungathatha isikhathi eside ke konke lokhu esengikubuzileke kuwena ke manje lemibuzo engithi ke iyona imibuzo eyayibuzwa uyena uKenneth Mboto wena ke uma uphendula uthi akaze kwenzeke ngalendlela noma lemibuzo lena ayibuzwanga engikubuza yona
Nkosi Katola akazi izibuzo lembuzo ebuzwa umshushisi njengamanje.
My Lord, the questions that are being posed by the state advocate now were never asked.
So the point of departure is Exhibit FF, the document that is in front of you. It's a document that was already prepared by Mboto when he approached you.
Wena okushoyo ukuthi lamaphepha lana ke njengoba uwabona ke lana uFF lana ukuthi
That is also an unfair question. This witness responded to this very same question. He said he does not know what happened. All that he was required to do is to come sign certain documents. So he can't specifically say that this document was already prepared. He wasn't there. Whether this document was prepared or not, he wasn't there. All that he knows is they presented certain documents to him to sign.
Yes, Mr. Sibanda.
The document that Mboto identified as Exhibit FF, my Lord, it's completed, it's written. So
Yeah, so what's your question?
My question is that this document, Exhibit FF, was merely presented to Sibiya just to annex his signature. There was no interaction between him and Mboto.
Yeah, that question is fair.
umshushisi uthi ke akubuzayo kuwena ukuthi ke lamaphepha lana ke uKenneth Mboto weza nawo kuwena eseqediwe kusekubhalwe yonke into wacela nje wena ukuthi usayinde kuphela.
Lesikhathi ngisayina kwakubhaliwe.
When I appended my signature, the document was completed.
So was there any stage where Mboto was writing in this particular document?
Kukhona la uKenneth Mboto yena awayebhala khona kulamaphepha la. Ngalesi ngamagama ngalesi sikhathi ekanye nawo kukhona la ayebhala khona.
Nkosi Katolo ngicela ukubonisa ukuthi umuntu mayephethe amaphepha ebhala ekubuza imibuzo ebhala umazi ukuthi ubhala kuliphi iphepha kweni ngaphansi noma mase ethi nje nawo amaphepha sayina la awumazi ukuthi ebebhala kuliphi iphepha awukwazi ukumbona kodwa yena maye ngibuza imibuzo kukhona izinto ayebhala kodwa kusiyona lembuzo le elapha kwekatolo ayebuza kimi.
My Lord, the witness is demonstrating here, taking these two documents, that is FF as well as my notepad, that when someone is writing and someone is in possession of documents and writing, you are unable to see whether the person is writing on the top page or the bottom page. But what I can say, my Lord, as I was answering, there were instances where he was writing. But the questions that are contained in here are not the questions that he was posing to me.
Good. So you confirm that at some stage Mboto was indeed writing?
Uyavuma ke kodwa ukuthi kukhona la ayemane ebhala khona.
Yebo wayebhala ukuthi wayebhala ini angazi.
Yes, he was writing. As to what it is that he was writing, I don't know.
And you confirm that at some stage, during that time he was writing, he was talking to you.
Uyavuma futhi ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso njengokuthi wayemane ebhala ukuthi wayebhala nkathi ekhuluma nawe.
Wayengibuza imibuzo ebhala kodwa ukuthi wayebhala ini angazi.
He was
Ngoba le
asking me
mbuzo le
questions.
ela, Angiyazi ngiyayiqala namhlanje.
He was asking me questions and writing. As to what it is that he was writing, I don't know. Because the questions that are contained in here is the first time today that I'm coming across them.
So that is the essence of an interview. There were questions, then there were answers that were written down.
Uma kukhulunywa ke ngenhlolo khona kukhulunywa ngako kona lokho ukuthi ke kunemibuzo kube futhi kube nezimpendulo.
Yebo wayengibuza wayebhala.
Yes, he was asking me and writing.
And then what I like before I leave this point is that you do not recall exactly the questions that he was putting.
Engikuthandayo ke ukuthi awuyikhumbuli imibuzo ayekubuza yona.
Yes, angikhumbula imibuzo ayengibuza yona kodwa kule usungibuze yona kwangesiyona akazi sengibuze yona.
Yes, I can't remember the questions that he asked me, but from the questions that you've already asked me or posed to me, those are not the questions that he asked me.
So I put it to you that this is the document that was filled by Colonel Mboto during the interview or the statement taking with yourself.
Mina ngithi ke kuwena ngiyakutshela ke ukuthi le document lena ephambi kwakho noma lamaphepha ke aphambi kwakho iwona ke lana uKenneth Mboto aye wabhala nkathi waye nawe ngaleli yalanga.
Cha, akusiwona.
No, this is not the document.
Akusiyona imibuzo wayengibuza yona. Ukuba wayengibuza lembuzo le, ngabe mawungibuza wona ngiyakwazi ukuyikhumbula ukuthi iyo lembuzo le. Kodwa ngoba lembuzo le ungibuza wona ngiyayiqala, that's why ngithi akusiwona lamaphepha ayewagcwalisa.
These are not the questions that he asked me. If it was the questions that he asked me on the day when you asked me, I would have remembered.
But you said most of the questions you cannot remember. Now all of a sudden you can remember. What is it that you can remember?
Yini kanye lena oyikhumbulayo ngoba ushilo wathi ke eminye imibuzo ke awuyikhumbuli akubuza yona.
Kosekatolo ngiphinde ngiyachaza. Imibuzo engangibuzwa uMbotho angikhumbuli kodwa le esengitshenwe la umshushisi kule aseyikufundile la akazange uMbotho azayibuza.
I repeat, my lord, the questions that were asked to me by Kenyan Mboto, I cannot recall. But from the questions that have already been put to me by the prosecutor from this form, these questions were never asked to me by Kenyan Mboto.
So I also put it to you that this is exactly the document, same document that you signed and annexed your thumbprint on it on the date in question.
Ngiphinde ngithi ke kuwena ke ilona ke leli document owalisigna futhi wase ubeka nesithupha sakho ke kulona.
Ngokubona isignature yami yilo lele engalisayinayo. Kodwa imibuzo yakhona angiyazi.
By seeing my signature, yes, I do confirm that it is the one that I signed, but the questions therein, I don't know the questions, my lord.
You already testified that you do not know what time did you return back to Valeria, correct?
Ubusushilo ke ukuthi awusikhumbuli ke noma usazi isikhathi owabuyela ngaso eValeria.
Engaya ngaseValeria ngangabuyeli ngangiqala ukuya.
Not that I was returning to, it was my first time going there.
Yes. And